Well, folks, it's a day of legends. I'll tell you what, here's yet another one of my heroes. Incredible man. A world-renowned speaker, musician, singer. Gosh, what does he not do? Best-selling author. I mean, you are a best-selling author, Eastman.
That's what they told me.
But you also created the world's #1 teen TV show called This Generation, and also you host the Fire by Night. Folks, it's Eastman Curtis. It's good to see you, man.
I was wondering who you're going to introduce, man. I'm looking around thinking, who's showing up? Thank you.
Oh,
for
Eastman.
That's an amazing thing. I need to record that just before I speak to my children. I need to
There
stick
you,
that up. Go,
there you
guys,
go.
gather around, listen to this.
Just take a listen. And of course, not only your children, but you know what? All these amazing things you've done. Incredible musician that used to play and be part of the Disney scene, you know, playing
Dude,
drums.
I used to be a part of your band. That was the exciting thing. Just remember those hours of just jamming? We've had some good times, Brant.
Well,
it has been good. So yes, Disney was there, but I got to play with Brant Fricker.
Oh, Brant Fricker. Yeah. Oh my God. Well, you know, Eastman, I would get up when I was a worship leader at a church in Tulsa in 1998, I think. I would always get up early in the morning. I couldn't sleep, and I'd turn on the TV, and there's this dude there, this cool dude, surfer-like guy. Hey, it's Eastman. And I was like, man, and I would watch you in the middle of the night. Of course, you had Destiny Church, before that, Church on the Move, when you were doing Fire by Night there, and so many great things you were doing. I never knew that I'd meet you. And one night, my friend Marlon said, hey, come jam with us. You know, we have this great drummer, and he's a great guy, well-known and loved in Tulsa. His name is Eastman Curtis. I said, no way. And man, I'll tell you what, you're at the top level of speakers. I mean, every time you open your mouth, hundreds of kids get saved. But you're an incredible musician as well. We had so much fun, Eastman. And
brother, we did hit it off pretty quick. Well, your heart too, just your love for people and how you really do. A lot of people talk about loving people, but I've seen you when the crowds aren't there and you're still loving people, even when the cameras aren't on and when nobody's looking. You're talking to people, praying with folks, and not everybody does that stuff. I mean, it's cool while the cameras are on. Oh yeah, everything's good. But I love your heart. It really is true blue, sincere, and I appreciate you. Well, and your wife, man, I can't wait to meet your wife. I'm excited about it.
Oh, she's the best, dude. She's the reason why I have a smile on my face. I'm in heaven, man, and you are too. Woo! You know, with your bride.
I am.
Oh man.
You know, I had to connect with my mom. We were talking a little bit before the show, and I had to get with my mom. And I came to my mother. I go, Mom, I really struggle. You need to help me pick out a person. I really stink at picking people out for a spouse. And my mom, you know what she said? She goes, finally. Like, okay, finally.
What
so I did.
You made it official. I mean, before you would sneak dates by. Isn't that what you were saying before?
Yeah. I basically did. And so this now, every time I meet somebody, because it was online dating, that was basically my son turned me on to online dating. So, before we go on a date, I go, hey, could you please meet my mom for just a minute? I just got to run by, just check on her. Oh, I'd love to meet your mother. So mom would have this little deal fixed up. I'd walk in and my mom would say, son, who's your friend? Oh, good to meet you. Son, would you mind going to the grocery store and getting me some yogurt? I'll stay here with your friend and talk to him for a little while. Like, sure, would you mind?
And she say, yay or nay?
Vetting all my dates. I know I'd come in, I'm getting this, I'm getting this. But anyway, through all that, we found, oh my God, it was really the Lord, but it was just me slowing down, because my problem is I fall in love fast. I fall in love hard. I just throw it all in,
Oh, I know.
And so anyway.
You love, man. You're passionate. Your passion is off the charts, dude. It always has been.
Thanks, brother. Maybe it's just, I'm so excited about everything. I have to just continue to tell myself, calm down. So be calm down. No one will understand what you're trying to say. Just calm down. Well, but anyway, that's how I met my wife, was mom vetting, and it worked out great.
It worked. Now, has mom ever said, hey, you better drop this one fast? Has that ever happened?
Yes. Yeah, I see those. She did go, where are you finding these people? I
Oh
did get one of
man.
those. So anyway, it was all good.
But
It's
you,
just how God has his hand on every part of your life. And he wants to be involved. I mean, seriously, no matter whatever areas you're struggling in or whatever areas you're trying to be better at, God's right there. If you just invite him in, he'll roll the sleeves up and dive right in. So he did. And so we're happy. She's happy. I'm happy. All God's children are happy.
that's wonderful. And Eastman, I mean, you've innovated so many things, of course, with Fire by Night, that show, some of you remember that. Actually, a lot of you viewers should remember that. And then This Generation, man, you recorded these great shows. I've never seen anything like it. And it was a #1 youth show on TBN, man. And
Right.
yeah.
And
And
do you
then, of
remember
course,
when MTV first came out? Were you
yeah,
going to say something about that? Because this was really a huge thing for me. I mean, music television.
right.
I mean, that to me, all kids were focusing in on it. I mean, around the 80s, that was like huge, big time. And so I thought, we need to put a salvation commercial on MTV. So I got with some of my friends, we put together a commercial and we saw, I mean, it was amazing how many people called in. We had so many people call
Wow.
in that we literally had to just do it in the areas that we were having our conferences in because it would
Wow.
go nationwide and you get like 100,000 calls and we weren't really ready for stuff like that. So we had
Wow.
to pick and choose where we were doing them.
Well, just another example, brother. I mean, you've always been ahead of the game. You're always innovative. I can't imagine what your children's ministry is like. I know they got to love you. I mean, so many young people that you mentored and inspired, they grew up to have adults and came to your church and they had kids as well. And I tell you, it's a thrill for me, Eastman, because I've always just saw you, man, you're just top shelf, brother. Your love for Jesus, you are sincere. And then,
Well, you're so
just
kind.
incredible delivery. I mean, you should be the one, doing this show. And if I could talk you into it, I want to see you do a show. You know,
I would love to, but I am having Brant right now. I know I'm doing what I'm supposed to be
right,
doing, which
right.
is children's ministry.
That's where
Go
it's at.
figure. I am well for me.
Well,
For me,
Eastman.
it is.
Well, they say I've heard it said before. This really cool guy named Rico in Owasso, Oklahoma, that he said, that there's a race to the heart of your child, and the one who gets there first wins. Look at the attack on our children and all the things they're being bombarded with, but
I
you're
know.
giving them and all the talent that you've had and you still have. You're giving that and pouring that into this youngest generation. Oh my gosh, man. Tell us about that.
Well, this is what happened. I moved to Florida. I went through some tough times, my personal life and all this stuff. So I was just trying to, regroup,
Yeah.
hit Alt Delete, reboot back up, get everything aimed in the right direction, shake off all the poop and move ahead, get cleaned up, and just let's go on. So that's basically I come to Florida, and so I start going to a church, and there's actually my fiance at that time, now my wife, she was going to a Methodist church, a Spirit-filled Methodist church, and I thought, well,
Right.
this is really cool, and just is real relational and just really really cool, and I'm getting into it, so I'm getting more involved. I'm involved in the youth ministry, involved with all this. I thought, man, I'm getting back into ministry. This is really fun. So I applied for a job, and they were looking for younger guys. I totally understand, but I don't think
Yeah,
they understood how much enthusiasm I had. I have the enthusiasm of a 12-year-old for sure.
Well, you still do, man.
I know. One of the kids told their mom, he goes, Mom, I know he looks 12, but he acts 8. That's what they said about me at 12. I mean, look at this.
Oh, I love it, dude.
So, but it has been really fun. So anyway, I got really, he didn't have any openings for me at the church. So then I saw one of my buddies that I'd done youth ministry with, and he was now pastoring a church. He goes, man, Eastman, we could really use you here. I go, really? I mean, for sure. He goes, yeah, absolutely. Would you be open to doing children's ministry? And honest to God, at that time, I was like, anything. I will be the maintenance director at your church. I don't know much about it, but I'll sure learn everything again.
Wow.
So I just jumped into children's ministry, 1st through 5th grade, just the little guys. I've never done anything like that. When I used to substitute teach school, because like you're a teacher, and I would sub every now and then, and the one guys I would always want to stay away from was the 1st through the 5th grade, the elementary kids, just because, Jimmy, put the scissors down, quit cutting Sally's hair, do not eat the Play-Doh. I mean, it was just habitually telling kids, do this. And so anyway, what happened, he said that, and I just thought, you know what? I've never done kids ministry, so I'm going to give it all I got. And brother, I did. I poured myself into it. The children's church started exploding and growing. We got more leaders now, and we have little drone wars that we do. We do stuff I like to do also. I mean, we love the Bible. I mean, we're hungry for the Word and stuff, and all that kind of thing. But man, we fly drones. I bought all like 30 these little teeny drones, and so they're sitting around. Those guys can fly this stuff. And then we break out the Nerf guns, so we have drone wars once every 6 weeks.
My gosh!
It's the kids are just, and they're so wide open to God. You'll read a passage, and just to hear their explanations of it and how they apply the scriptures, they're so much more intelligent, and they apply the word way more than what I had ever given them credit for.
Wow!
And probably a lot of you understand it, but I'm like, man, these kids are teaching me stuff. This is awesome. They're so open. They are so open. And it's wild. This is what I found out. Really, when you go there, it's not just what you say, but they want you. I mean, you can talk about loving kids. You can talk about loving other people. But if you've got some dude in your class that is jerking around and sassing off, they see how you handle it. Mm-hmm. Are you going to take care of it like with a 2x4 and just come down on their head and give them the dusty roads? Or are you going to love them back in, bring them outside, talk to them individually, and go, okay, look, dude.
Right.
Do not put people's kneecaps in your mouth. Don't do that.
Well, I'm so impressed that you're doing this, and the church has got to be ecstatic, because I know anything you do, man. I mean, it explodes in a great way, and you know what it's like to build a mega church, and then you know what it's like to minister to all ages. You innovated, radio segments. I think you told me you would put a cowboy hat on and a sheet over the cowboy hat.
I know. This is my Eastman Curtis studio, brother. I look at your background right now and I see, man, all your equipment and all this. I had a little tape player, digital tape player. I was real proud of it. It was a digital tape player. And
oh my gosh.
I put the cowboy hat on. I put what was it? It was like a beach towel over me.
Yeah.
And I'd have a little flashlight. And
in your bathroom, right?
Yeah. And I would do my first, I think it was like my first 3 series of shows, literally my podcast back then. Yeah. Now they're podcasts, but back in the day, holy cow, it was just like for 3 seasons I did it with the cowboy hat on. It was cool.
They were brilliant. They were brilliant spots. You're such a great teacher. You're so funny, you're so real. And those got nationally and I think internationally syndicated, man. How did that happen?
Actually just going, and there was a need. Nobody was doing anything like that. Until I saw this dude walking around the Tulsa Mall with a little recorder interviewing people. And that was you, man. I remember you doing that. I thought, who is this guy? This guy's great, because you were doing stuff. And I'm thinking, no, but at that time, nobody was really, podcasts weren't out. Stuff like this wasn't happening. So, and I sent it to a few Christian radio stations, so they started playing it. And then secular stations started playing, because it's positive, it's upbeat, and just, loving one another and doing the right thing and all that kind of stuff. So, gosh, it took off, and we were on over 500 American radio stations.
Wow!
Every single day, which was it was a daily program, Monday through Friday.
So cool! It was so cool, man. And
we never had to pay for one bit of airtime. They would air it absolutely free. It was a 90-second radio program, but because nobody was doing anything like that, they'd air it. And so I was like, "This is awesome!"
Oh,
Isn't it wild?
it was so cool, man. And and now you're saying drone wars. I've never heard of a children's ministry having drone wars, but it just goes to show that's how you roll, man. You're always ahead of the game, and of all the types of ministry I've got to do, I really, I've been thinking this and saying this for a while. It's the kids. The kids is where it's at, man. They're, a lot of them, if they don't come to faith by the time they're 10 years old, then chances are less likely.
Yeah. Very true. That's a very true statement. And it seems like little kids, they haven't been tainted yet. And a lot of them, they're already open. They're wired for God. I mean, you come out of the womb hungry for God, and so they haven't been taught to, no, that doesn't make sense with your brain. You can't just say something and the world be formed. That doesn't work like that. So,
Now, here's what I want to know.
Yeah.
When are you going to have your workshops for children's ministers all over the world? That's what I want to know.
You're the first one that's asked me for that, because this has been, it has been so fun what's been going on. And of course, now they've got me not just in children's church, but they have me with the seniors also. We're having shuffleboard championships and Florida is a great place because there's people come here and they retire. So we get.
I love your governor.
Yeah, he's a firecracker for sure, man.
So you're not joking? Shuffleboard championships with the prime timers, the seniors.
They're open to anything.
I love it.
It's just doing stuff, and we'll have sings and all sorts of fun stuff with them. That is just, whatever you do. This is what I found out, Brent. For me, this is how it works. The Bible tells us in the book of Isaiah, chapter 1, verse 19. It says, "If you're willing and obedient, you'll eat the good of the land." And there's times I've been obedient. I've done the right thing. You're good. Children's ministry. Okay, I guess I'll give children's ministry a shot. We'll see. But that you won't really achieve as much as you could if you have that attitude of I'll be obedient. Yes, Lord, I'll do it. Something about being willing, not just obedient, but when you mix the two, you take the willingness with the obedience, and that is, you don't have to do it. Now, all of a sudden, the got to do it turns into, I get to do it.
I get to do it.
Right. I get to be in children's ministry. Man, I get to do a shuffleboard championship with the seniors. I get to see them get fired up, not just retire. I get to see them refire. I mean, I want to see them grow in what God has. And they are. It's so exciting. And a lot of our seniors are helping with our children's now, too, which is really cool. When we have Vacation Bible School, we had 117 people get saved in Vacation Bible School.
Wow.
It was awesome. It was so awesome.
Wow.
So, and then them helping with the follow-up and, and leadership and all that stuff. It's really cool to watch it, but it's being willing, God, yes, I'll give it a shot, and then pour yourself into it. I don't like sitting there with felt boards and, sticking stuff up with, that was how I learned in Sunday school, but rather than do the felt, give me a drone, man, give me a Nerf gun, give me a Bible illustration with it. I can understand this now.
Or a drum, or hey, what are you doing with your music now? You're incredible.
I'm in 3 different bands here, so I travel around. I do a lot of publicity for the church, and in the segments in our bands, we usually have like a little kids thing where I'll sing "If You're Happy, Clap Your Hand," or "Baby Shark," or we'll do something. We'll do little dances and stuff, and then I'll tell everybody, "Hey, if you like this, you'd love our church. I'm children's pastor." So we use that as an outreach, literally. It's worked out really good. Just getting outside the walls of the church where people are and just saying, "Hey, man, if you like this, you'd love a church. Come check it out." And they do.
You've always done that. And of course, really superb music, performing, singing, percussion, drumming. Oh, my gosh. And I've watched you, Eastman. I've watched you minister to people on the street and people that gravitate to you that normally would never have anything to do with church, nothing to do with religion. But they saw the joy in you. They saw the Jesus in you. And when I got to meet you, I thought, man, this guy is the same guy in person that he is on television, because
That's so
unfortunately
cool.
that's not always the case. It's kind of a rare thing these days, man. But
But they're out there. There are people out there. I look at you, same thing. You know,
oh,
another guy that I've really been impressed with, Joel Osteen. I mean, you see him; he's got the mega industrial street. But
right.
really, I've hung out with him.
Yeah.
Same thing. I mean, he comes off the platform. Same brother. I
Wow.
appreciate you. I mean, that's how he is. What you see on television is exactly how he is. So there's
Wow.
people like that out there. There really are. And sometimes the tail ends up wagging the dog. But hey, you get back in it, man. Get back in it. You get knocked down, get up. Let's go.
Now, during this last COVID thing, a lot of churches were wiped out. A lot of people lost steam. A lot of people left the church. But you know, Eastman, I don't know what the picture was where you are, but my impression is, man, you never stop doing what you do. And what would you
Right.
say to those churches now that they hung in there? They're really hungry to reach people more than anything. How would you encourage the children's ministers out there that, hey, children's ministry isn't on their way to senior pastor; it's their calling, what they love
Right.
doing. How would you
Right.
encourage them right now?
Do it. Just do it. I know it sounds like a Nike commercial, but trust me. If you'll just do it, you've got dreams, you've got desires, just give it a shot. You know, check with your pastor, see if it'll flow with them. When COVID first hit, I thought, man, we can't get any kids into church. Everything was squelched about having, people together. But people were meeting outside and stuff. They were doing
Oh
stuff.
yeah,
And I thought, let's have a playground party at a park. Just let's go to a playground park and let's have a party. And so I bought a bicycle. I said, we're going to give away a bicycle, we're going to draw names. And we have a girl's bike and a boy's bike. So we got out there. We had like 150, kids just show up at this
wow,
stuff and preach the gospel to them, give an invitation, and give a bike away. But it was so exciting
wow.
to do stuff like that. Just looking for opportunities, just be open. Keep your antennas up. Just be open and you'll get ideas. Creative ideas come all the
That's
time.
wonderful. Yeah, and of course, such a reward, seeing the light go on in a
Oh
child's
my
eyes,
gosh,
man.
no doubt.
And
I
your
was
kid,
reading.
yeah.
I was going to share this. We was talking about that. There's a great scripture. It's in First Corinthians. It's the last chapter. And it's just a little obscure thing, but it's the only time the word addicted is used in the King James Bible. Just one
Really?
time. And I think of all these addictions, but this is how it used it. Listen to this. It says, the house of Stephanus, how he addicted himself to the work of the ministry. And I started thinking, that is something you can addict yourself to. When you're addicted to it, man, when you watch the lights come on in a little kid's eyes, or a mom or dad or somebody gets hope for the first time that God's going to help them through this situation, it is addicting. Man, you want to do it again and again and again. There's something about that, addicting yourself to ministry. So I love that, giving yourself entirely to it. Just throw yourself into it. It's fun.
Well, it's part of who you are. It's obvious. It's in your blood, man. And I've always been inspired watching you do what you do. Always so much fun, and just the genuineness and the humanity of it. You're not afraid to tell people, "Hey, I've been here. I've been here. Don't do that." Most of what I do in encouragement is telling people not to do all the stupid stuff I've done. But
I've done
life,
a few of that.
oh man. But life begets life and death begets death. You're a life giver, dude. And
Amen.
and this is a whole new season for you, that there's no accidents. God doesn't waste anything. And
Right.
now you're making history with children's ministry, and you've been with
Loving it.
youth, and oh my
Right.
gosh, man. So
And I
what's the
to be
horizon
honest
now?
with you, down the road,
Yeah,
I probably will start senior pastoring again down the
yeah,
road. But
yeah.
right now, I there's something about contentment. I heard you ministering the other day on your show, just talking about, but when there's this contentment that just
Yeah.
comes on you, you're more effective. There's peace involved. It's joyful. It's not like it's such a struggle anymore. There's a
Right.
contentment there. And
Oh,
so I know I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing right now. And maybe another door will open up. That would be great. And I do feel down the future I will. But right now, this is what I'm doing. I'm giving myself wholly to it. It's a blast. It's lovely.
It's awesome, brother. It really, really is. There's people watching. People, folks. You never know what you're going to see on these shows. You'll see a rock star, a movie star that loves Jesus, or a local hero, author, speaker, or someone with just a good story, or just an encouraging word. Or Ted Nugent. Yeah,
Ted Nugent could be on your show.
Ted Nugent playing the Star Spangled Banner. He did that on this show. And his beautiful wife Shemaine, she's been on the show too, and she used to be on MTV Cribs, and she's walked with Jesus for years, man. She is a Holy Ghost Jesus. But
I gotta give you a hug.
No one's ever given me a hug on the show before.
You got a virtual hug right there, man. I'm so proud of you, dude. That is awesome.
Oh, well, thanks, dude.
That's so cool.
Well, man, Eastman, you're one of those heroes to me. You really are. And it was such a delight to meet you back in the day. But these are those days too. You're doing yet more innovative. What would you say to someone who maybe they've never been to a church, or maybe someone's watching this in your area, in Florida? Man, I've never been to the church thing, but I see Bible. I see good and evil now, man. It's hard to hide. It's hard to deny the biblical things going on. How would you encourage them in terms of walking towards Jesus?
So many times, I know with me, it seemed like the church for me kept me away from church, because I always thought, like, my idea of a Christian was the guy that was very judgmental, very condemning, that everything was just had to be exactly like this. No personality, no individualism. You're just a clone of somebody. But when I got caught up, not in the church, but caught up in Jesus and made Jesus the primo, I just want to know more about him, hungry for him. Then somebody else was just like that. And somebody else was just like that. And then you get together, it's like, this is church right here, and then just worshiping together and working together and doing stuff together and edifying and utilizing your gifts together. To me, go for Jesus. The church, that's all a part of Jesus. But man, stick with Jesus, and it's all gonna work itself out. It always does.
Well, man, I'll tell you what, a mega talented musician, speaker, writer, preacher, children's minister, all ages, man, and not stopping anytime soon, brother. You're just top of the top.
Can't stop. You really can't. I mean,
no, you can't. You can't.
Like, where do we go? What do we do? This is a real thing. What else is there?
That's how you stay young. Well, Eastman, I want to keep up with you because I know anything you do is great. Anything that you're going to do is great. And one of these days, I'm going to talk you into doing another TV show too. But in the meantime,
it would be fun. Just at the right timing. I'm with you.
It's so good seeing you, my friend. Thank you so much for being an inspiration to the world.
Brant, I'm so proud of you, just watching all the stuff you're doing in your shows and how relative and relevant they are to people. I mean, just to make it easy for people to reach out and grab hold of truth. It is so good. Thank you for doing that.
That's a big compliment coming from you, my friend. I love you, and I can't wait to talk to you soon.
I love you. All right,
folks,
brother.
We'll see you next time. Thank you, man.
Okay.